blank slate.
Yeah.
Is this thing rolling?
He doesn't.
This guy, you know what he needs? You remember you watched Saturday Night Live and they had that little board with the
clap.
right? Yeah, he needs one of those.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Let's try before we die. We're here at the bar. I'm Colin.
I'm Malcolm.
I'm Lemming.
This is our friend. You've seen him before on the show, and he's come around to be a guest tonight. And you know, probably just for the whiskey, but I don't blame him. You blame him?
I don't, but I keep.
That's why you're here.
I keep him around for the hat.
What do they call that? A Scully hat? Is that a Scully?
It's like a Scully.
Yeah.
It keeps this place classy. Like you, Higgins.
Yeah. You know, it's actually a compliment to call me Higgins, right? If you understand the backstory of Higgins' role.
Yes.
Yes, I'll take it. Regular episode night, I would think, because there's not a bottle in the spot, but there is something in the spot.
Yes. So as we've been doing for the past couple of episodes, I don't know how we're sending them out towards the Facebook fans, but every time we start things and there happens to be an odd object on the bar, it means there could be some trivia being talked about.
It's almost like artifact night. I really like that word, artifact, right? Yeah. Again, as we know, the bar sort of is the clubhouse for the paintball team and the friend group and elements of my life. So the guys here asked if I would explain what this is. It's really just a cardstock, really. It's just blank.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to turn it around.
Yeah, but if you turn it around, we have some Japanese characters. There's some English words on there. You probably can't see them with the way the camera is today. But these characters, so, gosh, about
3 years ago.
3 years ago I went to Japan.
At least 3. Maybe 2.
I think it was 3.
Yeah, 2018 or 2019. The summer of one of those years, I went to Japan for 2 weeks.
And what was the reasoning behind that?
Why was it there? It's part of like an exchange program through public education and taking a look at the way Japanese do their educational systems. They come here and take a look. And so I went with a few educators and some students. And then we sort of were just on our own for a while in different families and hosts and doing things. I did some fishing while I was there. Some drinking. It turns out like the whole kenpai thing is a real deal there. You know, don't pour your own. You have a sip, you fill it, you know, your drink gets filled up. Your friend has a drink, you fill up theirs. And so your drink's never empty.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah.
that was probably one of my favorite things that you brought back from Japan was the kenpai.
Was the true story. But apparently one of the fish I caught while I was there, the awana, is like the native brook trout in Japan. And it was sort of a big deal, apparently, because everywhere I went, people were like, you know, oh, you caught the iguana. And, you know, and I was, well, yeah, and I had a picture and all that was really cool. And so one of the principals in the school I spent some time in did Japanese calligraphy. It's something he does.
Wow.
Right? And so he was able to produce these 2 characters, or 3 characters, or however many there are here, but these 2 panels, in probably about 15 minutes.
Wow.
He just sat down to his desk and got right after it. And so what it says is this character here is just fishing in Japan. So he says to Colin, this is fishing. And this, 2018.
All right,
July 4th, 2018, Mr. Okubu. Right, that's absolutely who that was. Mr. Okubu did this for me, so 3 years ago. So this is fishing. But those who know me and Kevin, you know, our fishing life is really built around the salmonoids, trouts and salmons and whatnot. And I was in Japan to fish for trout as well as this trip. These characters are trout fishing in Japanese calligraphy.
Now, have you had that verified?
By another fella from Japan. Right?
Right.
And so this tattoo means honor and trust, not doofus.
I know. I'm sure it means what it means.
Yeah, I'm confident it means what it means. We spent time
So
together.
if any of you out there know Japanese and read calligraphy, please let us know.
Yeah, send it back. Fishing, trout fishing from Mr. Okubu. He's a nice guy. So that's what this is. I have a little Japanese corner section in the bar with things I got in Japan, and they've been over since. They're real big on gifts. And in Japan, when you meet and you go somewhere, you know, like we'll do a housewarming. If you go for dinner, bring a bottle of wine, whatever, right? It's completely acceptable and almost sort of expected in an odd way. You know, you might go somewhere and you just give somebody a chocolate bar, right? Or a, like a napkin, like a cloth napkin or something like that. It's always just these small gifts, and what they really value in Japan as regarding the gift. Any guess? So we're not talking about the gift itself. An element of the gift is something they really value.
Handmade.
No, but it does involve the hands.
Nope.
So what's an art form that you associate with Japan that a lot of kids get involved with? And I won't drag it out too long, but that involves paper.
Origami.
Yes. So the Japanese are very big on folding paper. So when you give somebody a gift, an element of the gift, if not 50% of the gift, is actually the way it's wrapped.
Really?
Right. They are, wrapping matters. And so I ended up having to go see a Japanese witch doctor, it turns out, because of an ear ailment that I had. Oh, what an interesting experience. And when he solved that, he said, "You want me to do the other ear?" And I was like, "No." But Mr. Okubu took me to the village and then to the place to get my ear sorted out. And he really did it, but I wouldn't recommend it. And so I got him a bottle of sake as a thank you, right? Because he insisted on paying the $35 copay, which is what every Japanese resident pays for healthcare. A doctor's visit is 35 yen, or however that worked out. It's like $35, and that's it. And the state covers everything else, regardless of the bill or the reason you're getting the healthcare. And so he covered that and insisted. And so it was incumbent on me to repay that in a different way. So I got him a bottle of sake, and the guy just at the store, you know, every store you go to, it's just like Christmas here or the holidays here where they have the wrapper and the big cutter, right, just out for that season. Would you like those books wrapped? And that happens all day, every day in almost every store. You know, you get things wrapped, and whether the associate is 15 or, you know, 75, like, they wrap seriously. It's a big deal.
All right. So
Clean lines, folds,
Yeah.
squared. Yeah.
So before we move on to some drinking,
Yep.
what was your favorite moment in Japan?
Catching an iguana. That was like the success, right? Going out, catching the native non-stocked trout in a... And I know we're gonna move on to whiskey, but let me tell you, I had a guide, a friend really, and he spent the entire time ringing bells and blowing horns because the Asiatic black bear is known to kill people on a regular basis.
Oh, that's nice.
And so that was reassuring to be up in the
So
mountains.
close. Almost made it.
Yeah,
Wow.
with like, you know, and I was like, really, seriously? In the small village I was in, they're like, oh yeah, you know, 6 months ago a bear came down in the village and killed a woman in her garden. I'm like, okay, we'll keep ringing that bell.
I'm glad you made it with the fish then.
Yeah, so
That's nice.
Yeah, so that's that was the card from Mr. Okubu. But it's regular episode night.
It is regular episode night, and that means that we're going to spin some numbers up.
Yep.
You're going to mess up the counting, and hopefully we have to just go right here and grab a nice
Yep.
bowl.
And as always, we might play Am I Wearing Pants?
Well, like I say, that's not a game I enjoy.
You're
right,
over
so-
there, and I'm over here, so
Yeah.
I feel pretty safe.
It's always lose-lose for me.
All right, so I'm going to generate. We've got lots of open spots on the bar. You and I are actually pretty close to a whiskey run.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it goes down.
Yep,
I'm looking forward
couple
to
of
it.
months. I'm like, oh, I have to buy so many bottles. Here we go. Generate. We are taking a walk, maybe even into the snooker room. We're at bottle 201,
Oh, yeah, we are.
but we have to like do some math here. So we know it's 15 now. See, even the good idea bell has gone off. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 27. 27 plus 14.
41.
41. 45. 50. 53. 57. 61. 63. 65. 67 behind us. 2, 4, 6, 8. 67 plus 8, 75. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 85, 88, 90, 92, 94, 96, 98, 100, 105, 110, 114, 119, 120, 123, 126, 131, and now we're going to the back.
Flash, you got to come up here and number.
131, and I'm wearing pants!
Ah, yeah, you got it.
131. 2, 4, 6, 8, 41. 51. 60. 65. 68. 70. 72. 76. 176. Coming around here. 2, 4, 6. 176. 182. 84. 86. 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 193. 8 bottles to go. And we're in the snooker room for the first time in a long time. 8 bottles to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Defenders of the malt. The definitive Isla malt. Smoky, peaty, salty sweetness. What is it, Malcolm?
Can't be an Ardbeg, but it may be. But if not, it's a Laphroaig.
Wrong. Kev, got a guess?
Oh. No, I got nothing on that. A Laphroaig.
Oh, the other one.
This is Offerman's whiskey. Now, it's not his, because it's ours, but this is the whiskey he represents. With his sweaters and his fires and his boats and his fishing nets.
Original cask strength. 55.7.
Bottled at the natural strength, straight from the wood. Now, this bottle has been around here for a spell. In fact, I actually had to reapply this, you can see.
Yeah.
I had to reapply that. It has been around for a spell. Original cask strength Laphroaig whiskey is the authentic way to experience the rugged character of our uncompromising Scotch whiskey. It is a single Isla malt bottled at natural distillery strength. This gives a depth of genuine taste and texture normally associated with sampling a whiskey at the source. The choice is yours, but we recommend that you add twice as much water as whiskey to fully appreciate the lingering taste characteristics of original cask strength.
It was such a good roll as well.
Whiskey.
We were space-eyed for the last like 5 or 6 episodes.
Whiskey at cask strength quickly overpowers the palate, but adding water will release a rich aroma of peat smoke with some sweetness and strong hints of the sea. Emphatic, full-bodied, and utterly unforgettable.
I'll be honest. This is like my
Scared.
my entire bubble has been burst. But we've been
deceived a lot.
a lot. We really have been freaking deceived by certain bottles, which we certainly thought, this is the one that's going to turn me inside out. This is the one that's going to make when I make a face, or go, good God, what have I just done to myself? But I've been pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
So, you know what? Bring it on.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything that says
But look how clear and light it looks.
Was it twice as much water?
Yes.
Who says that?
Well, and there's a little element of truth to that. Whiskey can be, neat, a splash, a drop, an ice, but there are folks who do half and half.
Watered down.
Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna see if this is gonna. So this was purchased in the States, and
Been there for a while.
it's been there for a while. The Laphroaigs are up here with the Ardbegs, but I have one of those custom holders, a novelty holder or whatnot, so to fill in with the Laphroaig, which is what it calls for in that spot.
We should ban those from the countings. Any unique ones that you don't know about,
Yeah, no, I'm excited to try it. It's been a while since I've had a Laphroaig, I believe.
Yeah, because when it says freaking twice as much water as you do for whiskey.
It says a whole lot. Says a whole lot of good luck. and you know, and a lot of jesting here, because Offerman really can't be that wrong.
No, I mean it's Nick. I mean, come on.
And people really do like this whiskey. It's just like nervous about the cork.
Huh?
But it came. It felt like it was spinning in the top, but it wasn't. That cork is soft. Feel the cork too. Feel how soft that cork is. And this has been standing upright, you know, it's like the whiskey's dying to get out.
It's actually surprisingly sweet. And it is a very soft cork.
Yeah. Nothing out and it's gurgling. Release the beast!
Is this one of us ones I can go? There's no thing.
Bring Kevin's glass over.
Kevin said he'd take a double.
Is that double gonna be yours? Is that how that works?
All
I don't
right.
think we're not trying to finish this ball. So. Take it easy there. Take it easy there.
Before we jump into it, I'll just see if there's anything about Laphroaig that's, you know, uniquely interesting. Let's see. L.
There it is.
Built around 1820, produces a very individual whiskey. Popular wisdom has it that close proximity to the coast contributes a distinctly briny or saline quality to the whiskey. Many producers hold that the exchange of salt air and whiskey in a barrel creates this unique flavor. Laphroaig's producers believe that it is the high content of moss in the peat used during the malting process that gives the whiskey its unique flavor. Another nice note that adds flavor to the character of this distillery is that in 1954, the owner left the distillery like when he died, like left it, you know, in a will, to Bessie Williamson, his assistant. And she ran the company quite successfully until she retired in 1972.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah. Almost like who deserves
Yeah.
the distillery, who's already invested in it, and it's not because you're related to me, but rather who's going to carry on the
Yeah.
traditions.
Are you going to keep up with the traditions that I've
Yeah.
been putting down for the past X amount of years?
Yeah, and since 1820 thereabouts. So a 10-year-old cask strength Isla Laphroaig. I feel like it's gonna get us.
Oh my God. You know, like I said,
Yep.
it's going to be one of these things where we'll see what happens.
Woo!
I didn't need to hear that.
Yeah, adjust.
Yeah, that's got some.
A
That's
little
got,
bit at a time.
that's got some. That's gonna hurt. Did you drink it?
It's really not bad. I mean, quite good, really. It's not, to me, it's not this like overwhelming, knock you over, peaty experience, though it is probably sort of one of the dominant flavors. But it's really not what we've let it up to be.
I will say
For me.
the salty, that sort of, what is it? Not candy. Maybe it's salt.
Salted caramel, salted.
Yeah, you get that underlying salty taste.
Right.
That's
As you said it, I found it all left in my mouth, even though I've
that's probably
drank
my
it.
biggest take back. And would I say it? It's not as smooth as our space lights, obviously. But that being said, on a cold day, if you poured yourself a glass of this would hit the freaking money.
Emphatic, full-bodied, and utterly unforgettable. It is full-bodied.
I'm a little numb at the back.
I've taken a rather, I took a serious second drink and waiting to see if it gave me that response, and it just didn't happen.
I would say
again,
I was
being prepared for it too.
Yeah, I would say I was pretty close. I'm not going to say that I didn't feel like I was like, ooh, about ready to cough. But it was smooth enough that it sort of masked that ending where you're like, oh, okay. And I didn't really. You could definitely do the smokiness and the peat, but I would say for me, the underlying part of this was the saltiness of it, that briny, that salt residue that you get left.
That seaside.
Yep, that's
right.
the part I would
like
say.
when the seaweed is all on the beach and the tide has gone out and it's left there and it just fills the air.
And you can taste it.
Yeah, when you breathe.
That's what I would say that is probably the most outstanding part of it.
I just added more water than I would generally add to any whiskey of this much in my glass, just based on the recommendation. It clearly didn't double it up. Yeah, and they're saying that this should release the smoke. So I'm curious if they're gonna if they're accurate.
Ooh. You know, if your house caught on fire and like the firemen came and were putting your house out with seawater that they had pumped right out of the ocean,
Yep.
and then some of that splashed back into your face and like got in your mouth, that's what that tastes like.
And then the pump rusted up because of all the salt water, and it just stayed on your property for like 50 years.
Yeah,
and then you went over there and you opened the valve and just this, and it's cask strength Laphroaig. Oh my gosh.
Now,
Very palatable. Very palatable.
the water surely does mellow out, and you do get the smokiness now.
Yeah.
I get more of the smoke than I do the salt.
It relaxed it, right? Because we've cut it now.
And it would be interesting if we'd use cold water.
Well, ice water or something.
Yeah.
Water's key.
Yeah, my thought about the cold water, and we've talked a little bit about this, Mal, is that there's a numbing element to it as well that sort of maybe steals a piece of the flavor. I think traditionally you wouldn't be using cold, right? Again, to each his own.
Yes. And I would say, because on that water thing, I think the water truly, in a definitive way, washed it out. I do not feel like it's the same drink I had when it was neat.
We drank a bottle, or we had some of the Blackadder.
Yes.
And that was it begins with the M. We just passed the bottle of it. It was and it was a serious, we called it the Dragon's Breath.
Yes.
And that brought so much more.
That one was on fire.
That was on fire, almost flammable. What was the bottle we brought to Chatty Matty's wedding for the toast in the back? That sort of square bottle. I brought it. I was the one responsible for the wedding bottle that time.
What, the Colonel?
When I was the Colonel. That's right. That's right.
I wasn't there for that wedding, so.
Oh, you wouldn't know.
You lucked out.
He was there, though. You were there.
I was in the wedding. I don't remember.
It begins with an M. I'm gonna go look. I'll be right back on camera. It's right here. I just saw it. Facing the other way. The Mortlock.
Mortlock.
Kevin, you'll remember the bottle. We won't show everybody, but you'll go, oh right, that bottle.
Oh yeah.
It's a really unique bottle. Right. So that was the Blackadder, the cast strength on that one, which was again not bad, but like, woo, doggy.
That was last season, right?
Yeah, that was probably first season as a bonus because it was already open. You're right. Cool evening, sledding, outside, late fall, 40, 50 degrees, see your breath. This is the ticket.
Yep.
This warms you right up.
No doubts.
Yep, absolutely.
And
that's why Offerman's always in a sweater or on a boat, right, in front of the fire.
Plaid.
Yeah, in the plaid, yep.
Chopping firewood.
Right.
So that's after firewood Scotch.
Manly stuff.
So to roll back to just as we're about to break, and when we found out what this is, and we made all the faces and laughed. I would say, not being an Isla fan myself, that was rather tasty because it gave me things that you really wouldn't expect to be pleasant, and that was rather pleasant.
Right. It's almost like anticipatory effect.
Yes.
Right. But it didn't live up to what we were anticipating, right?
It wasn't as violent as I was expecting.
And that's the thing about Scotch, right? So the brain has this thing, anticipatory effect, and if you show people imagery of things they enjoy, a little or a lot, the brain will begin to actually release chemicals in anticipation of that. So we prepared for something, and we didn't get it at the level we expected.
No.
Right. Very palatable. Not a summer whiskey, maybe a summer evening whiskey if we've gotten down to the
Cooler.
60s and it's been
I
a
would say
really
that was
hot
pushing
day.
it. I would say that
Yeah,
was pushing it.
but these 40, 50-degree days or
But-
cooler,
Late fall,
all the
early
time.
winter, yeah.
Yeah.
You could pull off that and be nice. and
Right. This is a sipping whiskey.
Yes.
Yeah. Where were we when we poured somebody a whiskey and it was one of these and we're like, we don't drink like that. Oh, you know who it was? It was Kenny at camp.
Oh yes, I'm a Pittsburgh. That is
Okay,
great.
Kenny.
Yeah. Not real Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look like Kenny, so we're just gonna call you that. So we're sort of at this point where we're gonna start to wrap up. Again, so when folks will tell you about whiskeys that you haven't had, and they'll say, oh my gosh, I don't know. You know, again, you have to try it. You have to have the experience, and don't let yourself avoid something because you're nervous about what it might be. That's the lesson we've learned a lot
Yes.
lately, right? Is that, and the deception on smell and taste,
Correct.
two different pathways. to
Verbiage and taste are two different things.
Yep.
When you talk about something and you hear smoke, peat, brine,
Yeah,
8 glasses of water,
yeah.
you
Rusted
you,
fire
you're
hose
really
pumps.
preparing yourself for the worst. but truly, and I say it because I'm a true Speyside fan,
Yep.
and I don't like to freaking go out of my comfort zone. It's nice to freaking try stuff that you don't know, and then be like, oh, actually that wasn't bad. Would I go out and seek a bottle for my own collection? Probably not. But if I sat down with a friend and they brought out a bottle and they poured me a glass, I'd be like, oh, I've had that before. That's not bad.
Is that, and I hear you about not seeking it out if we're thinking of a collection that is maybe not this kind of a collection, but rather just truly to
Yeah.
your palate and that what you feel comfortable with, and you know how much you want to open your wallet. There is a bottle of the Laphroaig up there that I'm really excited to try at some point, brought back from Scotland. You know, a rare bottle. So I'm just excited to sort of experience this range as it happens. No different than the Ardbegs have been sort of pleasant. I would say this. Normally we'd be wrapping up now and we would be speaking Somalian or Ethiopian or Italian
Yeah, I
or
noticed
something.
things missing.
And we just don't have it. But actually, what I wanted to do, at the risk of emotions, and I don't think we'll end up there, but you know, Kevin, in the last year or so, your old man passed, and when the team put together the flowers that we try to do and recognize things, I think there was some sort of we'll raise a glass to your old man. So we're just going to raise a glass to Kevin's old man, just because you know that kind of stuff is important, right?
A little more on that one.
Oh, he saw it coming. He's like, oh, I'll drink it, and then they'll have to give me more because it's, you know, yeah, I should have just killed it. And do I remember right? Phil.
That's correct.
Yep. And was he a Phil or a fill up in his conversations?
He was a Phil in conversations. He was Philip 1L in anything written.
Right. And I'm Colin 1L, right? Exactly. So I understand that. All right. So to Kevin's dad, Phil, and you
Mr.
know,
Barati.
from all of us. Again, not what we were anticipating.
No?
Yeah. Getting easier too. And that's definitely not the alcohol.